teenagers getting up to shenanigans. We've also watched the latest episode of Riverdale for season 2. What did you think of the latest episode, which is episode 18, I think, from season 2? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a musical episode, so if you're not a fan of those, man, you would not be a fan of this episode. I personally, out of like, because that's the thing, I feel like this musical episode thing did start because of Buffy and like Joss Whedon and what he like I guess did to TV. Because there's a few like shows that do like Magicians had one recently, and a few other shows have it, like The Flash. What is it? No, Supergirl had it.
Supergirl.
Yeah,
Supergirl had it.
Yeah, so there's.
I thought there was going to be a musical episode with the Flash, just because I think he does have a villain called like the Music Maestro. So I thought that would have been like a pretty good way to like, again, like I guess shove in like a music episode in the Flash, but then
that would
also,
make sense.
Yeah, like and then like they obviously have to do like come up with like dumb reasons for like why they're talking. It's like, oh, it's the dark matter, it's forcing us to sing when we talk, like something dumb like that. But they did do the kind of episode on Supergirl about like singing and stuff. But the current episode or the recent episode of Riverdale was a music episode, and I really liked it. I liked the episode overall. It was really good.
I didn't like it as much.
Okay.
I feel like they're like, because like in the previous episode, it's like, oh, we're making this musical Carrie, yada yada yada, and then like it skips to like I guess the whole process of the musical Carrie. But like, I don't know, I felt like there was a little bit of a weird, I guess, disconnect for me. I don't know, I felt like musical episode, like it, like obviously the narrative was a little bit different in the musical episode, and obviously it was focusing on I guess the thing. The musical and everything, but like, yeah, like the songs themselves are actually pretty good. Like sometimes, and I'm assuming the cast can sing as well, so props to that. I don't know, for some reason when I was watching the episode, I probably had to get like rewatch it and probably get into like the right mindset. But like, I don't know, I felt really disjointed. Maybe it was just because I was just not expecting, because I didn't know that it was the musical episode, and literally until I turned it on, I'm like, oh, this is happening.
Well, yeah, I didn't know it was going to be a musical episode either. Like, I know, I knew obviously it was going to have Carrie, the Stephen King novel. I didn't know they've made it into a play, but I mean, it makes sense. It seems like something that a high school maybe might be able to do. I did like,
especially
Jughead.
with the. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I really like how Jughead was kind of. Was recording like everything, like all the events, and there were
like
also
a backstage thing.
Yeah, and they're also kind of also using that to also like record a lot of like the moments where like maybe Archie is talking about like how like mean like Betty was being to like Veronica and stuff. Like again, it kind of seems like a lot more genuine because it's coming out of like a video recorder camera, if that makes sense, as opposed to like a regular camera. But yeah, like I think the overall thing with this episode was like it's supposed to be Archie's still kind of dealing with the fact that he's working for Mr. Lodge, and he got a new car, and that's like obviously like not really cool with his dad, because his dad wanted to like buy a car together and work on it. But yeah, like I think overall like there's not too much that happened in the show other than like they're repairing a few relationships and moving forward with it. But at the same time, I really did like how, they didn't show you like the whole musical at once, because the episode was basically showing you bits and pieces of the Carrie movie as it progressed, and like they were showing it like while they're practicing, and then also at the very end, it's like like showing like how it kind of ends. But as we kind of see the curtain opens, when the play premieres, something big happens, and I really liked that kind of dramatic reveal at the end.
Yeah, it reminded me of something like the Scream TV show, or even like the Scream movies, because it's always kind of set in like in a high school type of crowd. So it kind of had that feel, which I do like. I did like the like kind of I guess the backstage kind of stuff with Cheryl and what the other girl's name who was in Stranger Things, whatever her name was. And like tension between her as well, being like the main cast as Carrie, because they're both redheads. I found that kind of thing was very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I like the show. Like, and I don't know. This episode was weird to me. Once again, I probably have to rewatch it again because there's a lot of things where I'm like, I was just, I don't know, just wasn't maybe paying attention. I think it's also because
I was gonna say, is it because like you felt like the episode was kind of all over the place because of the singing, or like you kind of missed out on stuff because of the singing? I don't know. Like I think the episode was like constructed like well.
yeah.
But yeah.
I know. I felt it fit well, but maybe I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood. Like I'm looking at like right now, like the previous episode from Riverdale did come out like 28th of March, so that was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So maybe I was just like, I don't know, just
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, the release
it was a
schedule-
long time, and it was like, oh yeah, like it was just random for me, I guess.
Yeah, I guess the release schedule for Riverdale has been pretty like, I don't know, bad. But I think that goes to say for like a lot of the CW TV shows at the moment, they're all kind of like coming out when they want to. Maybe they're like, obviously, things will obviously get back to normal soon. But yeah, like I look forward to like because essentially they kind of end like throughout the production there was like a threat about getting them to change who was cast as Carrie, which was Cheryl Blossom. And at the very end, like they do, and it's signed by the Black Hood, which is supposed to be like the Riverdale's like spooky murderer guy.
But I thought he died.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people, I guess, don't know who it might be. I've got a bit of a suspicion that it might be the Czech guy, but that could also be like a red herring. Czech being Betty's brother, but not really brother. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like this season overall, like I think first season was like pretty creepy, but it was kind of like okay. Like I feel like this season has a lot of like random creepy stalkery stuff. Not with just Chet guy, but as well as like even Cheryl's stuff with like her mom and like her uncle. Like I feel like that a lot of this stuff is like it's pretty sinister. And I feel like obviously like probably at the end of this season something's coming into a head with I guess both of those kind of storylines, as well as on top of like the whole Maya situation. So I feel like there's actually quite a lot of stuff going on in Riverdale, which is quite good for a big ensemble cast.
Well, I think for a lot of these kind of teen drama, like 90210, they always have the parents. The parents are kind of sometimes a motivating factor to the shenanigans that happen, right? And so you have like, obviously Cheryl's mom's doing, some stuff with like, or some like, I guess, has a plan going on with her husband's brother, twin brother. Like, doesn't that sound like a cliche, right?
It's very,
when you say it like that.
It's very soap opera, like, it was his twin brother, so it's like the same person.
Yeah, it's 100% like that, right? Like I mean, Cheryl is supposed to be like a straight psycho. So I actually really like the reference to the Carrie film where she like she's obviously covered in blood. And she goes to her mum's place threatening her. Obviously that comes up like again, like I think they do kind of do the characters very well at explaining like how they would behave in context, maybe not in real life, but in context to the show itself.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me of I think why there was such a weird shock for me is like, wasn't it the previous episode or the episode before that what had Cheryl's like grandma kind of being like dragged on the ground. She was like obviously getting drugged and things like that, and then it just ended. I don't know where she is now. Is she okay? Is she dead?
No. So
I don't think did I miss that?
No, in the previous episode, in the episode before the last episode, Cheryl was taken to
the asylum thing, whatever.
Yeah, the asylum, the nunnery asylum to have what essentially was, I guess, gay conversion therapy done to it. And basically in the last episode, I don't know what episode this was.
It'd be 17? No.
17, yeah, 17 or something. Or whatever, the last episode, the girls kind of, Veronica and the snake, the serpent chick, kind of rescued her from that. And the reason why they knew something was up was because Nana Rose called the school. And that's the reason why she was fell off her chair in order to try and get to a phone. But yeah, I think that's basically where it ended. They saved Cheryl, and then Cheryl was like, well, I'm going to do things and become like, I guess, queen bitch again in the show. But yeah, like I think with that particular plot, like Cheryl's like home life is just like crazy. Like I'm not surprised that she is the way she is.
She'll go psycho because once again, last season she burned down a goddamn house.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, the whole chick thing. I think I mentioned this maybe with you, because I think in the previous episode, what is it? A bunch of people from Chick's past like kind of come in and they kind of threaten, the Coopers to like give them money, otherwise they're gonna go to the police and ask where the guy is who they murdered, or well, Chick murdered in the first episode of the season. And it just kind of seems like obviously they're doing like Chick is like rusing them like on purpose, obviously.
Do you think it's one big whole thing?
Well, I mean, that could basically, like, it would explain, like, why he has this kind of innocent routine. But then also, because he mentions, like, oh, I went to find the girlfriend of the guy who died, and, oh, now she's here. Like, oh, woe is me. How did that happen? Like, it kind of seems like he's doing it to try and, like, siphon money and try and, like, like he's in on it as well in the end.
Yeah, because once again, now that I think of it, it's like, what is kind of the deal with Chick's character now? Where it's like, like obviously he's not technically the brother. What is he like? Because it's like, is he going to be a permanent person of the show? Like, what is his whole thing? Like, I'm still.
It's really
curious.
weird because obviously Veronica, what is it? Betty found out that he's not really her brother, but. We also kind of get revealed, like, officially in this episode that Chick isn't this child of is it Hank? I think is that the Hank Cooper or whatever. Like, it's not like his child. Obviously, it's like that's supposed to be like the big mystery that like that's the reason why they're like fight a lot all the time, because the first son that he gave away wasn't her child, his child kind of thing, but. I don't know. Like, I think it kind of seems like he isn't supposed to be. He's just supposed to be like a character for now. And that's the reason why I think, oh, maybe he's the one who did like the whole Riverdale, the Red Hood stuff. Like, because not Red Hood, Black Hood.
Too much Batman.
Too much Batman. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like, yeah, maybe that could be the reason. But I'm not really too sure. If that's the case, but I'm interested in seeing, how this season progresses. I know a lot of people haven't been liking this season as much as the first one, but I'm still invested. I like the character.
Like that thing, I feel like the first season was more tighter, obviously because it was like half the episode, so like obviously it had a story to tell and it kind of told it. Obviously like this whole season still has a lot of stuff, like I guess strands to it, where like the start of the season was like the Black Hood. And it's got the whole thing of like buying Hiram Lodge and kind of being his friend and turning everything to mayor. There's like a lot of stuff,
Oh yeah, Archie becoming part of like what is essentially the Riverdale Mafia, like.
Yeah, like that's a whole thing,
I'm just like, this is very different to what the comics are like. It's nothing like this.
Hey,
but
I'm pretty sure the comic, like I know for a fact that the comic does just random stuff where it's like, oh, we're doing this now, and just deal with it.